Good evening and welcome to another episode of Unstoppable Overcomers. I'm your host, Dorothy Odell. I really have the distinct pleasure of having the very first author in the book, Bringing New Words to Your Body Conversation. I would like for you to meet Miss Vicki Parker, a relationship builder who is passionate about people and creating meaningful connections. Vicki is dedicated to ensuring that everyone she encounters feels seen, heard, and valued. Her mission is to make a difference in the world by empowering powerful female leaders, helping them discover and radiate their confidence. With her warm, genuine approach, Vicki is committed to lifting others up and making an impact through the relationships she builds. So welcome to the show, Vicki.
Thank you, Dorothy. It's so great to be here.
Absolutely.
Really great to see you.
Great to see you. It's been a while. And I don't know if you've been watching the show. Vicki was she helped us out with one of our fun shows. Was it Jeopardy?
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day special. That's right. She helped us with that. She had her gong, amazing woman here. And so just really grateful to have you on here, Vicki. So let's share a little bit about I guess what made you decide to be a part of this book?
So I have a degree in dance and psychology and a specialization in dance therapy. And growing up as a dancer, when you are being degreed, you have to take ballet, you have to take tap, you have to take jazz, you have to take other forms of dance. And I don't have a typical ballerina body. I'm now only 5'3", but at the time I was 5'5.5", and I have more of a stocky gymnast type body. So throughout college, especially, I found myself very insecure about my body type and what I was pursuing. And I also became I had low self-esteem as a result of that and other things. And when I was talking with the other authors and we were bringing up the conversation about body image and body dissatisfaction, it really struck a chord with me. And writing this chapter has made a tremendous difference for me, but also allows me to support other people who are going through those very same types of conversations. So I was thrilled to be able to be a part of this book.
Absolutely. And thank you actually for making a huge contribution to the book, and to being a voice to say, wait a minute, you're not the only one that is having this conversation about, something that you don't like about your body, whether that be the size or, a birthmark or something like that, something that makes you different outside of the norm. And would you agree, or has it been your experience that, some people can be very unkind when you appear different than what the social norm should be?
Absolutely. From a very young age, I experienced being teased about my nose and the size of my nose. I have a very prominent nose, and I'm very proud of this nose. But growing up, it was a big nose to have on a little girl face. And I got so many rude, horrible comments, aardvark, anteater, talking about my beak. And for a long time, that really bothered me. And even when I thought it didn't bother me anymore, I then had a boyfriend who asked me once if I thought about getting my nose fixed. And yeah, needless to say, he wasn't my boyfriend for much longer. However, that conversation stays with you. And even recently, it was so interesting. In the not too distant past, I was looking in the mirror, and when you look in the mirror, I'm looking at my eyes most often, or oftentimes my teeth, because I've had issues with them in the past, and And so I'm very aware of that. My newer teeth look better than what I had as a child growing up. And so those are the things I see in the mirror, but I don't really look at my nose. And recently, I think I saw a profile picture and I'm like, wow, I really do have a, a prominent nose. and, and I think about that and I think about, well, what do other people think when they see that nose? Right. And
Mhm.
these are conversations that can really stick with you and not always in a positive way.
Right.
And yet there are other people who said, "Oh my God, I love your nose. It's so strong. It's powerful." Right.
Right.
But we sometimes as human beings tend to forget those conversations, right?
Right. 100%. It's funny the amount of negative bullshit that we continue to hold on to instead of the
Mhm.
positive. And
Yeah.
it's funny. Just recently, there's been a lot of that. It's this whole week, as a matter of fact, has just been bringing up
Mhm.
a lot of those beliefs and those things that I have held on to forever. And
Mm.
I'm 48. I'm like, come on, if you can believe the bad, why can't you believe the good?
Right. Right. Yeah. And it's very easy to slip back into that. And I think that's why I thought it was important to be a participant in this book as well, because w- what I think is really important is that we look at the conversations we're having and how our conversations impact our youth.
Mhm.
And oftentimes, the conversations we're having aren't even our own. And
Yeah.
my chapter tends to focus a little bit on the multi generational conversations that we're born into and how we take those conversations on, even if it wasn't necessarily the conversation that would have shown up had other influences not been there.
Right.
And and then what are those conversations we're having and how do they impact our youth? And when you look around the world today, Canada, the US, and Europe are all dealing with young women. When I say young women, I mean teens and women under 25 in particular who are cutting themselves. There are boys being thrown in dumpsters and trash cans and being bullied for their size, which they have no control over.
Right.
And it's just so ridiculous. And then the suicide rate among young people is really so disturbing
Yeah.
that I think it's the adults, it's the 60 somethings, the 40 somethings, the 50 somethings. We're the ones who we get to look at what are the conversations we're having out there that are shaping the conversations that the younger people are having.
Mhm.
And it's kind of disgusting when you start to do the research.
Yeah.
And in my chapter, I I referenced Barbie the movie before Barbie the movie came out. Um, my chapter had been written a couple of years ago, but um, we look at the ideal that we have created out there, which unfortunately is this beautiful, unrealistic female that would have the size of her throat would be the size of an esophagus only. That's all that could be hosted there. She'd have size 3 feet and be 5'9". She would tip over. She
Right.
wouldn't even be able to stand up.
Right.
And then um, we hold that as even men and women hold that as like this ideal. But how many bodies, realistic bodies, are out there that look like that and can sustain that? And
Right.
so my chapter goes into some of that, and I address some of that. And then there's a lot of things happening around the world with the avatars that we create on our phones that we think, oh, it's so fun. I'm going to be this cute little avatar. But how many people are totally changing the shape of their body because it's how they want to see themselves rather than how they see themselves? Or, and then rather than just being who they are, they create something different.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not on Snapchat, but I happened to be in Las Vegas at a conference earlier this year, and I needed a headshot photo. And this woman said, well, had heard us talking as we're walking down this hallway in this hotel, and she said, "Oh, wait, use my Snapchat because it has filters, and I can really just like enhance your total look." Wow, and she's an adult, right? And she's again, it's all about the filter. It's all about trying to make yourself look like something you're not.
Right.
And we go
It's
through our lives concerned about those things.
Yeah, 100%. It's funny because I have a girlfriend that she'd want a selfie and then she put like the filters and everything after that, and I'm like, and of course this woman also has had Botox and she's had lifts and fills
Mhm.
and all this stuff that I wouldn't even think and dream about having, um, and it's the perception that they need it. They need it's society has said this is what's beautiful, this size is what is the most attractive, and being overweight is unhealthy. And yet if you look at the stats, some people that are could be
Yes.
a bigger statures are actually are the most healthiest. I'm not saying that's every case, but I know a lot of different people. A woman in her late 30s. She
Mhm.
overweight woman, 300 some odd pounds, but yet she was healthy, like extremely healthy.
Yeah.
And myself, I mean, I've done a half marathon. I've never let my weight stop.
Kudos.
Thank you. I have the medal on the wall, actually. My
That's
husband
nice.
bought me a t-shirt. He was my boyfriend at the time, and he bought me the t-shirt that something along the fact that I killed the race or something like that. I forget. It's been a while. The
Aw,
shirt's buried.
and you've
Um,
got the T-shirt to prove it.
I have the t-shirt to prove it. Yes, and so it's amazing what we tell ourselves and what we believe. Now, I'm very thankful. I have a husband now that is hugely supportive. He's never said anything about my size, and I mean, I've been all over the. I've been so many different sizes since we've been together in 7 years. It's like kind of laughable, um, because I dropped a lot of weight before we got married. When he met me, I was training for the half marathon, and then we got comfortable in the relationship, and you know, then it's like, oh wait, well now we're getting married. Now you got to shrink back into the size because you want it to look good in your dress, right? And so those things
Yeah.
that were, it's like if somebody can accept you, why are you trying to change everything about you?
Isn't it amazing for a photo
A photo,
so that we
yeah,
can have a photo of it, right? And I agree. It's so interesting. And we yo-yo back and forth for a lot of reasons, right? And when we talk about body image, it's interesting because 90% of us, when we talk about body image, go to weight. But there's so much more, right? Like my nose or even my teeth. I had an underbite, so my teeth are like this, and it took years for us to actually, do the work and have my teeth come over the top, and I have very soft gums. I have had major dental work done, 3 times over now, and I will say at the age of 14, when I got my first crowns, I started smiling more because I felt confident. And I have people telling me all the time, "You're always smiling." I'm like, "Because I have to show off these very expensive teeth." Right? And I'm thrilled that I have them. And so
right.
when we talk about, Botox, and I have never had Botox. I prefer not to have it, and inject things in my body. And that's my own
Mhm.
choice, but if it makes someone feel more confident and feel better, then I'm all about do what makes you feel that you can be fully self-expressed in who you are, whatever that
Right,
is. Um,
right.
but it's so sad to me that for most of us, or for many of us out there in the world today, it's all about changing something so that I can be or have more confidence, have a better life, have a better boyfriend or husband, right? Rather than I just feel like I can express myself better as a result. And
Or
so
even just
it's a
love
very,
yourself.
right? It's such a
Just
complex
just love
area
yourself
of life.
where you're at, where you're not, and just 100% in the you that you're in at that moment.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree with you. Totally. So, Dorothy, the name of my chapter, can I share it?
Sure.
Um,
Yes.
my chapter is called The Pizza Eating Fat Assed Aardvark That Could. Because in my journey I know, it's like, where in the world is she going with that? But on my journey as a ballet dancer with a master's in ballet, after Thanksgiving, my freshman year at my college, my dance master came up to me and squeezed my hips. He went, let me get in the camera if I can here. He said,
There we go.
pizza, pizza, pizza. And he was from
Oh,
Romania and he had this thick accent. And it was funny because I stood there incredulously thinking, who would do that? Like, first of all, it's so incredibly dehumanizing to do
mhm.
that and so rude and crude. But we all laughed because we thought he was so funny because he would say things like, do as I say until I don't tell you to, right? Or something. You're like, okay. It was just interesting English and whatnot. But that stayed with me for so long. And who doesn't love pizza? I love pizza, right? So now he made pizza a bad thing. And I was not a fat girl, but I'm a bigger boned girl than a lot of the ballerinas.
Mhm.
And I probably had a little more flesh on my bones than some of them. And it was so demeaning. Um, I was told by my cousin's daughter, her 4-year-old daughter told me, Cousin Vicki, you got a fat ass.
Oh my gosh.
I was so frustrated. Like, who in the world, first of all, that your child knows what a fat ass is and has the opinion that it's not a good thing, and
Hmm.
then would speak it and then swear. Like, we grew up in a household that didn't swear. So I was just stunned at that one. And then I was being called an aardvark by this boy that I had a crush on, right, as a kid. So my story talks about the pizza, pizza, pizza eating badass aardvark that could actually overcome all of that because we all can. We
Mhm.
just have to stop believing those lies that people have imprinted into our minds and into our thoughts, um, and it's not always easy because those conversations will come back and will return. But you can through many different ways get present to who you are
Mhm.
and really love yourself, as you said, right?
Right.
And I'm thankful.
100%.
I have a bunch of women around me that support me in loving myself, and a bunch of people in my life that also do.
I think having your tribe, I call them my tribe, having your tribe around
Yeah.
you is important. I mean, I never had that growing up. Um, Never. I think I
Wow.
had three friends back
Hmm.
back when I was really younger, back in public school. Um, and or you call it grade school in the States, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's funny that I you couldn't even count on them. It was more like at that point just an acquaintance, right? Not
Hmm.
certainly not somebody you could that would defend you in the playground when you're getting bullied and things like that, or in the classroom. And it's funny. I had not had those kind of relationships until I met you ladies, right? And so I find
Hmm.
that's why I really take it like, wow, you know, sometimes it had felt like it was too good to be true, considering you never had that your entire life until you hit your 40s,
Right.
right? Um,
Yeah.
but then when you get into that situation, you know you're never ever going to go back, meaning that you're never going to allow somebody to mistreat you that way again,
Hmm.
or use you or say things to you. Um, you know, I would just not say anything and just let it fester until one day I just exploded.
Oh, wow.
And
It's not
which
healthy.
is not healthy, not healthy at all. But in our family, you suppressed it, you suppressed it, you suppressed it until you couldn't suppress it anymore. And then it was like
Yeah.
the pressure cooker, boom, right? And so, yeah, that was our experience. And it's nice to have like yourself and Jen's the woman that was in charge of this project, getting this book together, and getting
Amazingly.
this amazing, yes, amazing. Jen is so amazing. And and to be able for 10 of us to be able to share our stories and say, wow, this truly did happen to us. This was, this is
Mhm.
our version of what happened to us. And being brave enough to share those stories and say, hey, wait a minute, we're stepping up so that people know that they're not alone in their circumstances, right? And let's make the movement and change that body conversation. So,
Absolutely. That's one thing that I love is all the women who've contributed to this book are passionate about people, are passionate about making a difference for others, and are really passionate about being able to be a contribution, right, in the world. And so, even though we all have different pathways by which we do that, each and every one of us have experienced body dissatisfaction, shame, guilt, some form um, of upset around things that people have said or different things that we thought.
mhm,
And we've all done such an amazing job of uh, releasing that, right? Like letting it go. I let it go to God, but some people like are going to put it in a box and put it over there and just let it sit and go dissolve over time, or put it um, in a in another file, light it on fire. So we
right,
all found ways to get rid of those conversations and take them out. But I love that each one of us has a totally different pathway by which we experience that. And I think that just shows the interconnectedness of not just women, but all people, right?
right.
I truly believe every person on the planet experiences body dissatisfaction at some point in your life, no matter
100%.
how healthy your relationships, right? No matter
Mhm,
how healthy your growing up situation, I think there's some point where you compare yourself to others. And I think, unfortunately, that's a natural part of being human or just our societal norms.
right.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's quite a few men that I know that have gone through the same thing, and ended up getting
Hmm.
um, most of the men that I know, it was to do with their body weight, and
Graying
so
hair.
having
Oh,
no, I dye mine. My husband pays for the dye job since he's the one that makes me go gray. No, I'm just kidding, honey. Anyways, it comes under the joint account, but I say half my hair is the gray hair is from my mom, and half the gray hair is from my stepson and my husband.
there
So
you go.
that's what I say. But no, men that truly they have the body conversation about around weight too. And I know
Hmm.
three of them that have even gone as far as to have gastric bypass surgery. Um,
Mm,
and so the thing of it is, you can do all the things, you can have the surgery, but if you don't heal yourself from the inside, you could still have that surgery, lose a ton of weight, and then gain it back because you haven't
agreed.
fixed what's inside,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
underlying splinter that is keeping the weight there. And I've been doing a lot of research and just really different mentorships and things like that. And for me, what I found is it's layers. Either you can call it suppression or trauma over the
Hmm.
years that have just built on that you've never dealt with. And
Yeah.
and so, now, oh, wait, that was my time to deal with my trauma, right? And the chaos that was my
Hmm.
life growing up. And so that's what I found. And I never thought that 30 years ago. I thought, well, just starve yourself, go on a keto diet, starve yourself, eat 800 calories, and you'll be fine. You'll drop the weight. But that's not the case.
Yeah. A lot of people, I totally agree with you. A lot of people choose to lose weight. They might use Ozempic or they might do the gastric bypass surgery. Um, And if they're not healing from the inside out, which I think a lot of times before you can get approved to have the surgery, you actually do undergo a lot of psychological, there's some testing that goes on and also some support around it. But I think what I've noticed, I do wellness coaching and I coach a program. I actually lost 42 pounds last year through a program that was very successful for me. And what I like about it and what I think I see and why this program makes a difference is that it focuses on after the after. A lot of times you see before and after photos, but I think the reason a lot of people don't start to address the psychological impact of why am I continuing down this path or what is it that got me here in the first place.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times that they don't want to address that part. So it's easier to take the pill, right? Or easier to get the surgery. But I think most people that don't even start a program of any kind is because they're fearful of what happens after I lose the weight. And for most people, I find that weight isn't the first issue, but it is the first thing that you put together to get your health and your wellness together. Um, because you want to get your blood sugar levels and all of that flattened out so that you're not craving foods. But what I love about what you said is a lot of people don't deal with what has them craving the foods in the first place, right?
Right.
So, um, with this program, we focus on after the after, like what are the habits that you've put in place through the years? And to your point, what are the triggers that have me going for food as a resource or avoiding food, which then
Mhm.
has my body hold on to what it has, which is fat most often, right? And so that's where I think there's a lot of complexity in body dissatisfaction. You
Mhm.
know, like why are we even dissatisfied in the first place? Why can't we just love ourselves? But then how did the weight come on? Is it that I'm unhealthy in other areas? So I think overall wellness is a great place to focus. But as I said, even in my chapter, I deal with the multi generational conversations that have an influence and an impact. Like, I love my mom, but every conversation I have with my mom, almost every, she says, "Oh, doctor said I'm doing good. Lost 2 pounds." Or now that she just got a dog. Now that I got this little dog, I lost 10 pounds. Right. Or she goes to the doctor, "Oh, I'm up 3 pounds on the scale." It's always a topic of our conversation. And I don't have those conversations with everybody else, but at my home where I grew up, that's a key player. And I think other people find those kind of conversations to be things that help them hold on to the weight, like you said, you know. And I think men are less likely to take a look at it the way women do because of societal norms that it's okay for a man, right?
Mhm. Right.
Even though for him, the he who is the him dealing with it, it's not okay.
Right. Yes, 100%. And you said something. So as parents, what are we teaching our children when we constantly fixate on those problem areas, whether that be weight or birthmarks or the imperfections that we see in ourselves? If we're constantly
Yes,
talking about it to our children, what are we bringing back to our children? And then they're going to subconsciously take those conversations and think, well, me too, right? Well, this is mom, this is what, or dad, this is what they're thinking. This must be true for
right.
me too. And so just thinking, heal yourself first before
Yes,
you get into either a relationship or have children or things like that, or or at least be aware of those conversations and have those conversations with your children. Because I know
hmm
a friend of mine had the gastric bypass surgery, and she was very fearful that what message was that sending to her daughters. And so she
hmm
sat down with them and had that conversation with each of her daughters
wow,
and
that's
said,
so great.
this is why I'm doing it. And I realized over the years, this is the message I was sending, and that's not the message that I want to portray to you. So good for her for being
hmm
aware of that, where a lot of us would not even have a clue that that was something that might have transpired, right? With
Yeah.
in giving that conversation to our child.
Yeah. One of the things I do put in the end of my chapter is kind of what I saw in the same realm as a pathway to um, supporting our youth and helping them have healthy relationships with their bodies, loving their own body, and also their mindset, and then providing them with the opportunity to have high self-esteem. Because if you're always being compared, if your mom is always comparing herself to everyone else, you're likely to start comparing yourself. So I think if we take responsibility for what we're putting out in the world, like, what am I saying about my body or what am I saying about others'
Mhm.
bodies? So if I take responsibility for what I'm putting out in the world, then it may, and the impact that it may have for others, right? I can't, everyone has their own story and their own influences. So something I say that might sound positive might not be positive to someone, but I can at least take responsibility for where I'm throwing out and casting stones. Addressing, as you said, my own body image issues, healing from within, healing myself before I try to raise children and um, or be in a relationship with someone else, adjusting my own self deprecating language to positive, loving language about myself and my body, and believing myself when I say, "You are beautiful," when I look
Yeah,
in the mirror, right? And
right.
I think, a lot of us forget to find the beauty in ourselves, as you were saying, like really. So, peeling back the layers of all those societal conversations around wellness and health and beauty and belonging, and what are those conversations and how are they impacting me, and how can I um, remove the ones that no longer serve me or never did. Acknowledging and showing appreciation for all body types, right? Seeing people and showing your children or showing your youth or your partner or whoever you're with, like, oh my gosh, that woman is so beautiful, look how she's expressing herself, um, or look at the talent that she has, whatever that talent may be, right? And then one thing that I know as a dancer, and now I'm an innkeeper and I'm on my feet all the time. My feet hurt a lot. Just acknowledging and expressing love for our limbs and our
Mhm.
digits and our features and our body's ability to do all the things it does. Because
Yes.
I can stand and I can run and I can walk and I can move, but if my body weren't doing that for me, I help run a summer camp for kids, and I have a lot of nasty looking spider veins on the side of my leg. And I had a child say to me, "Oh my gosh, Vicki, what happened to you? Does that hurt?" And I was like, it doesn't hurt, but it does look kind of ugly, doesn't it? And they said, "Yeah." And I said, "But you know what? I know kids who have legs and they can't use them. So I'm just thankful for my legs and all they can do," right? Acknowledging that, yeah, it doesn't look pretty, but you know what? These legs can do some stuff. They get me around. And I think sharing that with our children and our grandchildren, I'm at that age where my friends have grandchildren. It's so bizarre. Um, I would, right? But I don't have any kids.
Oh,
But
it's
just
funny you say
really,
that.
why is that?
I was just gonna say, funny you say that because I have nephews that are in their 20s and my stepson's
Yeah,
13. So
right.
I've already helped raise a generation. And now I'm help
Yeah.
raising a generation. And I'm like, I'm too tired for this shit some days. And so I'm just like, I don't see myself as 48. I've been told pretty much my entire life that I look like I'm in my 20s. I've had
Yeah.
this from other people. I still get carded. I've been carded just last week. And I'm just like,
Wow.
I know, right?
Mm-mm. Sassy
And
girl.
so right? And so I don't feel old. I don't feel my age. And to when you just said that, I'm like, shit, I have a 22 or 23-year-old.
Right.
Uh, and I'm just like, oh, like I feel he's mine. He's my stepson. He's my godson, or not my stepson. He's my nephew and my godson, and I helped raise him. So to me, he's
Mhm.
mine. Um, and I'm like, yeah. 23, out of the house, living on his own,
That's so great.
living his best life in Chicago. And I'm just like, yeah, no wonder why I feel this way.
But even that, right? Like, even thinking about that, like, wow, my body's carried me this far. My body's carried me for 60 years. Like, it's allowed to do the things it's doing. Now,
Yeah,
I will say, I love my body the way it is and the way it isn't. And there are some things that we're working on together to keep it so that it's vital, to keep it so that I can have another 60 years,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um, and my goal is to be medication free and pain free. I'm not pain free these days, but I'm working toward that. So
Good,
every day we just have now.
good for you. You know, it's funny because, well, I grew up with parents that basically had a medicine cabinet full of prescription drugs to get through their ailments. And I had said to
Hmm.
myself, that's not something that I want to live with. My
Yeah.
reality, my family's reality, not my reality, my family's reality is yes, I have a funny from each family. I have one that's lived to be past 90. My grandmother's still
Ooh,
92 alive, and
awesome.
my dad's grandmother was close to 100 when she died. But other than that, everybody was late 50s. My dad was 69. My grandfather was 74. My dad's mom was six. My mom's dad was 63 when he died. So reality
Mm,
is, so I'm here for a good time. I'm here for a
yes.
good time. Let's make the impact. Let's change the world and get out.
Yeah. I'm not in a hurry to get out, but when it's my time, I'm ready. Um, but there are so many things I want to do and experience and meet people from all over. And yeah, but if it's my time, then okay. I just hope it's quick and pain free. Or
Right.
pain free for however long it is, right? Because I figure if it's quick, then my body won't experience pain for too long, and then whatever happens next, I get to experience that. And hopefully it doesn't take this pain with it if it's painful.
That
Don't
that
know.
is that is true. As somebody who's
But
watched somebody die, it's painful. It's painful to watch
yeah.
after like 9 days. I've watched it for 9 days. I'm like, that is just nuts. So
Mhm.
I will make
But
sure that
this
doesn't happen.
conversation's yeah, this is a good reminder that, we get the body we get, and it's a
Right.
beautiful thing.
So
And it lasts
keep it
us as long
healthy.
as it lasts. Yeah, keep it healthy, keep moving, keep it hydrated, and, hydration is so key and important. Even mindset is
Mhm.
impacted by poor hydration. So, for anyone who's watching, if you're looking to, be healthy, make sure you're hydrating. I like to start the day out with 2 glasses of water first thing. I know it sounds like, "Oh, geez, I'm gonna start running to the restroom right away," but you'd be surprised. Your body will absorb that very quickly, and you won't be running right away.
Yes.
But
Uh, I
yeah,
have one of these within the first 30 minutes of me getting up.
that's perfect. That's really great.
24 ounces.
Woohoo. That's good.
So
80 on average is what is recommended, but I like to do 100 ounces. So if you're getting 24 in the first half hour, that's amazing, Dorothy. That's great.
yeah, I have petered out during the day though. I didn't know I just hope that Dr. Christie isn't watching this episode because I have gotten up to 4 liters a day, but lately I just don't want to drink it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I found I will add lemon to my water, or sometimes I'll add lavender, and that makes a difference just to have a little touch of flavor. And yeah, hydration though is so key because first of all, it helps keep you awake. It also helps you sleep better. Sounds ironic, but if your body's fully hydrated, you'll sleep better. So you get a deeper, better sleep. It also helps you keep moving throughout the day. You don't feel as hungry, so you're less likely if weight is one of the areas that you're looking to impact, um, it also has you have the feeling of being full longer. So hydration, and it's great for your skin and your hair and all that, and your glow.
You glow. You
You can get
glow.
on your glow, Dorothy. Yeah.
Get on my glow. Love it. Love it. And what's funny, I don't use skincare products. I know everybody looks at me and says, "What do you use?" And my skin has like nothing on it, like no blemishes, no
It's beautiful.
nothing. And
Yeah.
people like I have had some people get right pissed off at me about it. And I'm like, you know what? I've never used any the occasional soap, but it's just water usually. And
But you know
yeah.
what, Dorothy? What it says is you're eating well, because if you were eating poorly and if your digestion were poor, you would be getting acne and you'd have other issues appearing on your skin. So it sounds to me like you're doing some healthy eating, and you're eating the right things that are allowing your body to flourish. So that's good. You
I'm
do have
living
beautiful
by
skin.
well, thank you. I'm living by the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time it's clean, and 20% of the time I allow myself to eat whatever the hell I want. Um, that's just I figure that way I'm not craving anything. I don't feel deprived. I don't feel like I'm missing out. Because
Yeah.
like my basically for 20 years of my life, I would either starve myself or not eat and then or binge eat, and then that added a whole other element of crap to it. Um,
Yeah.
so it was just like, no, like I'm not doing this anymore. It's just why have you been like why would you even do that? And so yeah, that has stopped a long time ago, but there were moments in my life that did happen.
Yeah,
But
same here, which is why I got into that situation with 42 extra pounds. COVID did not help me in that arena, and my mindset was like, "Oh, it's okay. It's COVID. Oh, it's okay. We're in a pandemic. Oh, it's okay. I'm over 55. Oh, all these excuses."
mhm.
And now I'm fortunate that I found something that worked for me, and it has allowed me to put healthy habits into my life. I actually have an alarm that goes off every 3 hours that says time to eat.
Wow. So
Yeah,
you're
and I
eating
don't
smaller
always
meals.
eat at that time. Yep, smaller meals. It's a whole food program. However, there is a nutritional component. But what I love about this particular program, there's four different components. One is nutrition. One is you have a coach for life. And my coach is pretty strict. Oh, I've got a story about my coach. Another component is a educational component, and then there's a community component. So there's support in a lot of different areas. But I was getting ready to go on a cruise with some friends, and I used to travel with the auto show circuit, and life was a party, right? We're going to different cities. Every city, there's some auto show party. You're eating at new restaurants. You've got per diem. You're with people that you see here at this city, but not this city and at this city. So you're like, hey, let's get together. Let's have some wine. Hey, let's get together, right? And so life is a party with them. And we got together a year ago to go on a cruise. And before the cruise, I said to my coach, yeah, I haven't had any wine in 4 months. And I think I'm going to have wine this weekend. And she said, okay. And she said, why are you going to have wine? And I said, because I love wine. And I'm going to be with some friends and we're going to celebrate. And I want to toast the bride and groom. And I also want to, toast my friend who is um, making it through her cancer journey, and to, raise a glass to her victories. And she said, okay. And she said, well, could you have something else that's less caloric than wine? And I was like, yeah, I could probably do like a gin and tonic or something like that. And she goes, yeah, and they do have like low calorie tonic or something. And I was like, oh yeah, I could do that. And then she said, so do you have to drink with this group of people? And I was like, "Mm, no." And she goes, okay. And she said, and is your friend who has cancer, is she going to be drinking? And I went, no, she's not going to be drinking. She said, oh, okay. She said, well, could you support her and not drink? I was like, yeah, I can do that. And she said, and could you make a request of others? to not have drinks so that she's not feeling left out? And I was like, yeah, I can do that. I'll do that. Right? Like I went from I'm going to have 2 glasses to none.
There you go.
And I did all of that, but no one took on my request. But I didn't drink on the cruise, right? And I came back and I felt accomplished and I felt good because I didn't compromise what I wanted for me.
Mhm.
And my blood sugar levels weren't all over the place, so I wasn't craving all the food that's available on a cruise.
Right.
Now, I chose powerfully to have a couple slices of pizza because I'm the pizza. I'm a pizza fat ass artifact aardvark. That
Oh,
I wasn't intending to bring it full circle, but that did kind of bring it full circle. I still love my pizza.
oh, I love that you can laugh at it, and that you're now it's a joke, and it's not something that would have crushed you back then. I love that.
Yeah.
I have
Well,
one question which I've never asked anybody else on the show that I've had. So
oh, good.
anybody that had like your pizza guy, the one
Yeah.
that your tormentor, I'll say it as tormentor. Did you ever say anything bad to him through all those years? Like, did you ever say, "Hey, that's not
No,
okay"?
no. As a ballet master, they think they can tell you anything because he was Hungarian or Romanian. His wife was the opposite, and they came to this country. They defected. He was a prominent choreographer in his country,
Mhm.
and um, that world is a very harsh world. And one of the dancers that I danced with at my college, um, she was studying at Boston Conservatory, and she was so thin they wouldn't let her take class anymore. They weighed people all the time, and she
Wow.
came and took class with us. And while our school didn't promote being anorexic or bulimic, I will say that body type gets seen,
All right.
right? And acknowledged for their leanness. So, um, yeah. And it's a very defining moment when they begin to bully. I mean, if you read some of the things about George Balanchine and I mean, Gelsey Kirkland was a very prominent dancer in New York, and she wrote a book all about it, about her eating disorders. I am so fortunate that I never got into that, but I do. I've been a binge eater, a closet eater, and I talk about that in my chapter as well.
Mhm.
I don't think it was because of the dance background. I would say that was a multi-generational behavior. My mom, when we were kids, we'd get our Halloween candy, and we had this big square Tupperware. Uh, it wasn't a bowl because it was square, but thing
Mhm.
uh,
Mhm.
container, and my mom had it in our cabinet, and all our Halloween candy would go in that. And then at night, she would pick at it while we were in bed. You'd wake up and you'd see her picking. She had her little stash, and so I have it that my mom was always kind of a closet eater, and maybe I made that up. I don't know, but I've been a closet eater a
We
lot of
call
my
that
life.
parent tax. We call that parent tax. Like if we take the kids out trick or treating, it's the parent
Yeah.
tax to take some
Oh,
of their candy. Parent tax. Anyways,
that's funny. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's what you get. We gave you
Right.
life. You have to give us
We it,
candy.
especially if it's Reese's.
That's right. All right.
Reese's and Twix.
Yes. All right. Now it's that time that we're going to bring the
Ooh,
amazing Kimberly Genovese, our roving reporter, who is nothing but in light there. Uh,
Right?
I
Oh my
know,
gosh, look at that. That's kind of fun. I kind
right?
of
How
liking it.
it's
I'm kind of liking
so
it.
angelic.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm in shadow. I'm in the shadows. I'll switch over
There you
here.
are.
So I'm in the beautiful land of
Mm.
the Midwest in the fall. And my gosh, we are just having the most stunning and gorgeous fall. It's just
Oh,
spectacular.
wonderful.
crazy spectacular. So, hi.
Hi.
Hi, it's good to see
Welcome.
you
It's
out in
good to
there
be
enjoying the sunlight and vitamin D.
right. It's this is a beautiful, beautiful day. Amazing show today, ladies. Like really off the hook.
Thank you.
Really
Thank you.
stunning.
Well,
And I loved it. Vicky, that's the amazing Dorothy and the amazing Holy Spirit of the show,
she
that it
is
had it
amazing,
circle back around, right? Like it did a
right?
complete circling, which is pretty stunning. So that's pretty
Yes.
spectacular. I know, girl. I know. Gifted.
She's like, what can I say?
What can I like? There it is. There it is. It's so beautiful.
That should have been a screenshot. We were all in that same position together. It was kind of funny.
Yes, that is, well, it can be. It can be. So, um I am very excited personally, Vicky, to hear your fundamentals. So, inside of this
Oh,
whole world, which, I it's just a snippet of who you are. Just one of the many areas that you provide such exceptional service and care to humanity. And so knowing your fundamentals cross over not just this realm of body image, but across the globe. Like, we're very excited for you to share your fundamentals today. So let's give you the floor. Let's just give her the
all
floor.
right. My fundamentals. So the three things that I see can make your life better. First of all, I have it that all people thrive and want to be seen in the world. They want to be seen. They thrive when they are seen. And so my invitation to you is go out there and be seen. Let people see you. Let people see you outside, enjoying this beautiful weather. Let people see you on your podcast, on your show, and be able to know who you are. Let people see you on the court, living life and living it fully. Have them know who you are. So I have it that everyone wants to be seen. They want to be heard, right? So shout it out. Let people know who you are. Let them know what you stand for. Let them know what's important to you. Let them know that they're important to you. Most importantly, make them matter. Let them matter. Let them be seen and heard by you as well. But finally, be known. Be known for who you are. So get yourself out there on the court, living large. Have yourself heard. Speak your truth. Whatever that truth is, you are uniquely you, and your truth matters. And be known. Be known out in the world. Be known to the people who you love, and let them know how much you love them. And if you have those things, if you give yourself the gift of being seen, heard, and known, if you give others the gift of being seen, heard, and known by you, you have such a rich life. Those are my
Amen.
fundamentals.
Amen. It's so beautiful. It's like
Thank you.
literally, girlfriend, like get that your job on this planet is complete. Like right there, like getting that message out into the world, like that is. So
Mm,
I have the distinct privilege and pleasure of knowing Vicky for quite a long time, and in very intimate settings, where we really got to get to the heart of our pureness and our goodness, and who we are as love. And so I'm just honored in this moment, Vic, right? Like for you to
wow.
get the job is done. Like really
Mhm.
get it. Fundamentally get it. Like your message is out there. It's being heard, it's being broadcast, it's going to be in Dorothy's media channels of a million gazillion channels, and her network and her production company. And you know by streamlining that message, right, exactly the way you said it, and the call to
Mm,
action that you created in that, it's
mm.
stunning, because it's just giving
Thank
the world permission. um it's
Yeah.
spectacular. So now
And
everything else you do from here on out is extra.
bonus. I love it. I love it.
You're
That's
in
so
the
great. Thank you for your permission for all of the rest to be extra. And
yeah.
Dorothy, well, I heard you earlier saying that as a child, like being seen, heard, and known was not what was happening in your life. And so I am so thrilled that, I didn't have to see you in that part of your life. And I'm so thrilled to meet you in this part of your life, because who you are is someone who is not only being seen, heard, and known for what you stand for and who you are, but you also give others that opportunity. And Kimberly, you the same way, right? You're
Mhm.
out there roving around the globe, making it happen, right?
Exposing.
And yes, bringing people together, and really beautiful.
Yeah.
Such a pleasure and a privilege to be here with both of you and to be co-authors with you in
I
our book.
know. How fun is that? Our first one where we're actually in the same book together.
I
Vicki and I
know.
have been in the same series together, but not in the same actual book. So that's very exciting. So yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And
And
to
you
get
get to be there
your
with Dorothy.
copy, go to these Amazon go to Amazon. The link is in the show notes as well as across the bottom of the screen to get your copy of bringing new words to your body conversation. So great book.
Fundamentally, right? Like, because we're in the fundamentals now, right? Like,
Yes.
guys, like this book is off the hook. And it real what I love most about it is it really is a very fundamental conversation around body
Mm-hmm.
imaging, right? Like the body image. What is the body image, right? How does it apply?
Yeah.
And we're on the precipice. That's always a fun word for me.
Precipice.
Thank you. That word.
You're welcome.
We're right there, right? Like we're in the age of Aquarius. We're, for this generation, and the body imaging conversation is getting rewritten as we speak.
Yeah.
So, for those of us that are part of the past generations, right, and bridging into the new generations, and to your point, Vic, in the show, who we get to be at such a time as this. It's so freaking
Right.
fun. It's so fun. And this book really captures, that era, right? Like the last, I would say, 60 years up to now, right? And then really can so it really can help the current generations that are now, this is their time, this is their age of Aquarius, this is their opportunity, so they can and it's a quick read, right? They will literally fundamentally access what they don't even know that they don't know is running their shows in life
Yes,
right now.
absolutely.
And it's like the Cliff Note versions of, like, get this book, read this book, and you'll find what lane out of one of the 10 of us you'll relate. It'll be like, that's my story. That's where I'm coming from. And it'll close it for you. It'll close it and it'll shut it down and it'll give you that power. And you will have so much freedom moving forward to create like the most amazing body image conversation ever. And all of our contact information is in that book. So, it's a no-brainer. It makes for a great read, a great understanding, a great fundamental
Christmas
stair step, right?
Great Christmas gift for
Yeah,
all those people out there.
And I in this show, like, I'm letting the Holy Spirit fly, right? Fundamentally, this is not a self-help book, guys. It's not. It not, by no means. There's nothing there. It really is more of a translating the current consciousness, the consciousness that's going out, and bridging the gap to the consciousness that's coming in. And so it's a very, very powerful read in that regard of you accessing, all of us accessing, reaccessing that which might be blocking you to have your best life now. So run, don't
And
walk.
now.
Buy 10 copies, not one, because you'll want to give them away.
Absolutely. And keep one for yourself, because especially
right.
as Dorothy mentioned, with the Christmas holidays coming and Thanksgiving holiday, right? This is
Yes.
such a great resource for you. And Kimberly, I agree with you people are going to identify with one of the 10 of us, but I have it that they'll identify with all of us because there's so
maybe
much.
not. Yeah, I mean,
Maybe,
you know,
maybe
but they
not.
don't. Point
But
being, if
more
they
than
identify with one, right? You know,
absolutely.
That's all
Yeah.
they need is one.
Right.
Yeah, but they
Yeah.
may know 9 other people. I mean, that's the whole point, right? Like that's the
Yes.
idea is, you know,
Yeah.
we've got all the bases covered. The perfect 10.
The
That's
perfect
right.
10.
Oh, I love it.
The Bo Derek perfect 10.
That's right.
There you go. For those of you who
And
have
with
no idea who Bo Derek is or what the perfect 10 is, Google it or chat GBT it. I have to now expand
yes,
like where to send people, right?
right.
Or
But I
AI
love
it.
it.
Maybe
Perfect 10
AI is
because
that the simple thing to say now? AI it.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
AI it. They
Exactly.
what I love about the perfect 10 is it's not only the perfect 10 in terms of body, when you think about that, right? People, when you Google Bo Derek, you'll get that. But we are the perfect 10, as Kimberly just said. And um, we bring you 10 perspectives, very different, but perfectly aligned in this conversation.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
All right.
cool.
Well,
That
Love
was
it.
mic drop. I don't even have to say anything else. That was just perfect.
we
A perfect
segue
10.
back to you, Madame.
All righty. Well, thank you so
Yes.
much, Vicki, for coming on our show and really
Thank
hearing
you.
your body conversation. As you heard,
Yeah.
Vicki, just go get your copy today on Amazon. It is there in the show notes, and it is across the screen right now at the bottom. And don't forget, guys, to be unstoppable in all that you do. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Unstoppable Overcomers. And if you happen to have Roku, go check us out. Leave us a rating over there as well. Yeah, we love you. Stay safe and be unstoppable in all that you do. Bye for now.
Bye. Thanks, Dorothy. Thanks, Kimberly.